In the wake of the FBI's recent investigation into Mike Wolfe's mansion, a series of unsettling discoveries have emerged, casting a shadow over the legacy of the American Pickers star. The operation, which began as a routine inquiry, quickly escalated into a complex case involving hidden artifacts, secret chambers, and potential links to international art theft. In a shocking twist, the FBI recently removed an old floor from Mike Wolfe's mansion, and what they discovered inside was enough to send a cold shiver down anyone's spine. What did they find, and what does this discovery mean for the future of the American Picker star? Stay tuned, because this is a mystery you won't want to miss. Could this be a dark secret that's never been revealed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like, share this video so everyone can join in on the mystery, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more thrilling stories coming your way. When the FBI suddenly showed up at Mike Wolfe's mansion, a familiar face from the show American Pickers, both the media and fans were left shocked. On the second floor, which had previously been used as Mike Wolfe's private office, a special task force dismantled the entire old wooden floor. Images from the scene quickly spread, capturing the tense expressions on the faces of the agents. Although no official announcement was made, an inside source confirmed that a shocking discovery had left the entire FBI team speechless. As the truth slowly came to light, a shocking connection to the late artist Frank Fritz emerged. These details may make you reconsider everything you thought you knew about Mike Wolfe. Before becoming the famous host, Wolfe was known as a man passionate about searching for antiques. His entire life was tied to wandering across America hunting for valuable old items, as if tracing the footsteps of time. Before rising to fame, Mike Wolfe lived in near isolation, and no one knew exactly where he was. Old records show that he dropped out of school at 16 and lived at various temporary addresses between 1992 and 1997. During this period, his name appeared in the records of a secret group called the Collector's Circle, which specialized in acquiring artifacts with unclear origins. This group is believed to be linked to the mysterious disappearances of indigenous cultural artifacts in the border area between the U.S. and Canada, though no official charges have been made. After 1997, Mike Wolfe's name suddenly vanished from public records until 2003, when he reappeared as the owner of an antique business in Tennessee. Shortly after American Pickers aired, he quickly became a symbol of the modern nostalgic lifestyle. However, his past remained buried beneath the spotlight of fame and the laughter-filled episodes. However, in recent years, some collectors and archaeologists have started speaking out. They accuse Wolfe of distorting history for media purposes, and many of the artifacts featured on the show are suspected to be replicas, not the ancient treasures they are presented as. These allegations, along with Wolfe's sudden silence, have left many people questioning the truth. After stepping back from public activities and social media, rumors began circulating that Mike Wolfe might be under investigation. American Pickers was suspected of serving as a front to legitimize shady antique deals. Some items found were discovered to be on the list of stolen artifacts from major museums around the world, and these rumors seem to be gaining momentum. The details being revealed are causing people to wonder, is Mike Wolfe really the man we once imagined? When the FBI unexpectedly appeared at Mike Wolfe's mansion, things took a more complicated turn, as a small detail overlooked by many was uncovered. The mansion where the FBI had dismantled the second-floor flooring had once been an abandoned church, which Wolfe had remodeled. In an old interview, he shared his desire to live in a place with an aged soul, where every brick and detail was personally designed by him. Notably, the second-floor floor was an exact replica of a 19th-century European house, which Wolfe had personally disassembled and brought back from abroad. Although no one knows exactly why the FBI focused on that specific section of the floor, many sources suggest that this was not a random choice. They had a specific reason, and the first clue came from a small note in an old journal. Frank Fritz's journal, the former companion of Wolfe, was left behind in an old, dust-covered suitcase. Inside were detailed notes about Fritz's suspicions, and one specific entry caused the investigation team to pause. Fritz recounted a strange event during a long filming trip when he had to spend the night at Wolfe's house. At the time, the house was still under renovation. Around 3 a.m., Fritz was awakened by strange noises coming from the ceiling, right where Wolfe's office now stood on the second floor. The whispers were faint but continuous, and the floor creaked as though something was moving. When Fritz asked Wolfe about it the next morning, Wolfe simply laughed and said, "Maybe it's just the old wooden floors." Although Fritz didn't pursue it further, the growing tension between the two eventually led Fritz to question that detail. This opened the door for a thorough investigation. The FBI examined the house's structure and discovered that the renovation plans Wolfe had submitted didn't match the official building permits. The second floor, which had once been a bell tower, was completely sealed off. During the on-site inspection, the technical team found that the floor was unusually thick. Beneath the wooden layer, a thin cement layer not mentioned anywhere in the design plans was removed, revealing a spiral wooden structure with a distinctly ancient religious architectural style. Beneath the cement layer was a steel trap door with no handle, buried within the thick, heavy walls. After nearly an hour, the investigation team managed to open the door, and the space below revealed a hidden storage room built from stone, with an arched European-style ceiling. The air in the room was damp, cold, and tinged with a burnt smell. As the flashlight descended, the atmosphere seemed to freeze, and everyone present stood in silence. After 6 minutes in the cramped space of about 10 square meters, dozens of rare artifacts were discovered, including items bearing labels from European museums and some listed as missing by Interpol. There were Eastern European wooden sculptures, stone reliefs with unidentified markings, and a heavy metal box with a double lock mechanism. What sent shivers down the FBI agents' spines didn't stop there. In the corner of the room, they found a photo frame turned face down, covered in dried blood and dust. When flipped over, it was a photo of Frank Fritz smiling in an episode that aired 5 years ago. On the wall, a recurring symbol, a double spiral surrounding an eye, was drawn in an unidentified substance. Experts determined that this was not a mere decoration but a symbol with ideological significance, potentially related to a belief system or code. The entire area was immediately sealed off and guarded, signaling the potential danger posed by these discoveries. The FBI seized all the artifacts and sent a preliminary report to federal authorities due to serious violations related to international cultural heritage. The basement, previously sealed beneath the finely crafted wooden floor, has now become the focal point of a large-scale investigation, raising troubling questions about the past that Mike Wolfe may have hidden for years. Only a few wooden planks separated the basement from the world above, but that small gap was enough to conceal secrets that no one dared to believe could be true. And now, the truth is slowly coming to light. After discovering the hidden basement beneath Mike Wolfe's mansion, the FBI expanded its investigation, tracking artifact shipping and storage routes tied to locations Wolfe controlled. An old warehouse, once shared by Wolfe and Frank Fritz, became a key focus. Inside a long locker, investigators found a heavy wooden suitcase marked with FF. It contained Frank Fritz's personal journal, with yellowed pages but legible handwriting. The journal chronicled his thoughts and experiences in the final 3 years before his disappearance from the media and American pickers. The journal's entries, especially those about Wolfe's strange changes, prompted the entire investigation team to read it repeatedly. Fritz noticed strange changes in Wolfe, as his appearances were limited and his role on the show diminished. Eventually, Fritz was forced to resign his contract under restrictive terms he didn't want. Fritz wrote that he was merely a background figure in the picture Wolfe wanted to create. He began suspecting that Wolfe was using the show as a cover, frequently stopping at locations not on the schedule, meeting with unknown vendors, and buying items that never appeared on the show. These items were always moved out overnight without anyone asking or taking note. Have you ever wondered if Frank Fritz's suspicions about Mike Wolfe are true? Are there dark secrets between the two that we've never known about? If you're curious about the complicated relationships and unsolved mysteries, don't miss this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more dramatic and shocking stories coming your way. The turning point came when Fritz discovered a crate full of artifacts at a location owned by one of Wolfe's subsidiaries, containing numerous items not listed in the official catalog, some even bearing labels from international museums. Fritz secretly took photos and recorded their serial numbers, all of which were attached in the journal. However, the most chilling part was the sense of impending danger Fritz felt. One page in the journal read, I think he knows I'm watching. My phone has been acting strange, and once I saw his car parked outside my house. The journal ended with a farewell. If anything happens to me, this notebook is the reason. The journal concluded on July 14, 2022, 3 days before Wolfe announced that Fritz would not return to the show due to health reasons. Since then, Fritz has never appeared in public again. What makes the story even more eerie is the photo of Fritz, face down, covered in dust, placed in the sealed basement. This photo was taken during one of his last filming sessions. The FBI classified the journal as crucial evidence, not only because it exposed Wolfe's potential wrongdoing, but also because it revealed Fritz's psychological distress, the feeling of being watched, and a series of signs indicating that Fritz was slowly being removed from both the show and the media spotlight. In addition, the FBI extracted data from Wolfe's personal hard drive. In a brief audio clip lasting less than a minute, Wolfe's voice can be heard amidst the sound of wind and background noise. If he talks, I'll lose everything. You understand? Everything. The voice says, ending with a cold, brief laugh sharp as a blade. This data doesn't answer all questions, but it is the only unedited, unfiltered account remaining from someone who was once very close to the truth, and also the last person to witness everything Mike Wolfe had built. When the FBI recovered data from Mike Wolfe's personal hard drive, shocking revelations began to surface. A detailed plan, down to the final steps, was found not only for running American Pickers, but also for protecting, maintaining, and preserving Mike Wolfe's image, even as everyone else disappeared. The entire plan was stored in a tightly encrypted digital folder named FF 2023 Master. Within this folder, the investigation team unexpectedly discovered a series of files containing 3D models, synthesized voice recordings, and detailed behavioral charts. Notably, the audio clips were not extracted from old footage, but were entirely recreated using AI technology, vividly replicating Frank Fritz's voice. The simulation videos showed Frank Fritz talking, reacting, and even joking in his familiar style, all digitally created without any real human involvement. Wolfe had hired a team of anonymous engineers to develop this recreation system. They used audio and visual data from hundreds of previous episodes to train an AI model to mimic Fritz's voice, facial expressions, and interaction habits. The first 12-minute test was deemed indistinguishable from the original, with plans to include it in special episodes labeled as never-before-seen footage. Around the same time, a legal document sent by Wolfe to a law office in Delaware was added to the case files. This document revealed a shocking action. Wolfe had registered the name Frank Fritz as a trademark with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. In the filing, he described Fritz as a media asset, including his image, gestures, voice, and catchphrases associated with the character. The registration process was completed just weeks after Fritz officially withdrew from the show. This was not just about image rights. It was an act of erasing a real person to turn them into a marketable asset. Not stopping there, Wolfe created an underground ecosystem for artifact transactions completely separate from legal regulatory bodies. E-commerce platforms run by Wolfe's subsidiaries allowed items to be self-priced, their origins rewritten, and digital certificates issued for objects featured on the show. These certificates in the system were later found to be fraudulent. The artifacts matched those seized from the basement of Wolfe's mansion, proving that Wolfe was not just the face of the show, but the mastermind behind the entire operation, controlling the machine from the shadows. When all these details came together, the truth became clear. Fritz's removal wasn't due to conflict or health issues, but was a necessary step to replace him with a programmed version. No need for a new person, just technology. Fritz was replaced by a digital replica capable of mimicking his laugh, raised eyebrow, and distinctive pronunciation, with no one noticing the difference. Once the model was complete, the real version was no longer necessary. The question is no longer why Fritz disappeared, but when did we stop seeing the real Fritz? American Pickers continued to air for 3 more seasons after Fritz's departure. Some viewers noticed that these episodes felt detached, as if the footage was recycled or something was off. Now it's clear that during those moments, Fritz was absent, and what viewers saw was only his illusion, a replica on the screen. The system that Wolfe built wasn't just about forgery. It was a mechanism to distort memory, commercialize identity, and manipulate emotions within a scripted narrative. When the mask fell, what remained was an artificial legacy, where historical value was driven by profit and the people who truly helped create it were erased as though they never existed. Mike Wolfe couldn't escape the legal whirlwind he created. When arrested at the FBI headquarters, he remained silent for the first 16 hours of questioning, showing no reaction, requesting no lawyer, and offering no denial. One investigator recalled, "He sat motionless, staring at us when Frank Fritz was mentioned." In his initial statement, Wolfe only wrote a short sentence. Not everyone deserves to have their memory preserved. After that, he remained completely silent, offering no apologies or explanations for the evidence presented. This silence sparked controversy, with some in the public believing he was hiding guilt, while others suspected something even more terrifying. During the investigation, the FBI discovered a strange symbol, a double spiral surrounding an eye, which appeared multiple times in the basement. Experts believe this could be an internal symbol of a private group, not matching any known belief systems. One theory suggests that Wolfe might be involved with an underground organization dealing in forbidden artifacts. The items in the basement were sealed except for 3 with unidentified origins: a charred wooden box, a hand-drawn leather map in blue ink, and a copper tube with a unique mechanical lock. None of these items were found in global databases, causing concern among experts that they could be key to a chain of undisclosed evidence. Frank Fritz's family has remained silent to the media, but their lawyer has confirmed they are filing a lawsuit against Wolfe for copyright infringement of Fritz's image, while also requesting an independent investigation into whether Fritz was threatened before his disappearance. A chilling detail was mentioned in the crime scene report. At the foot of the basement wall, beneath a thick layer of dust, a line of chalk was found. Here everything continues even when no one is watching. The author of this inscription has yet to be identified, and the exact time it was written remains unknown. However, the location of the writing, directly across from Fritz's portrait, sends a shiver down the spine of anyone who reads it. Ultimately, the case ended with a harsh sentence. Mike Wolfe was convicted of 12 federal charges, including commercial fraud, possession of stolen cultural property, and using someone else's identity for commercial purposes. Although the case had concluded, the investigation was far from over. Many individuals and organizations involved are now under closer scrutiny. This story is not just about the fall of a television icon, but also a wake-up call. Sometimes what we believe to be memories are actually the result of deliberate design. What do you think about the secrets still hidden beneath that old wooden floor? What has been discovered is only the surface of something much larger. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future updates.